Today you're going to learn about literary elements or parts of a story. As you watch the video, print the worksheet and use it to take notes and practice what you learn. So, what is a literary element? Well, element means a part of something, and literary means about literature or stories. So, a literary element is a part of a story. In this video, we're going to learn about 8 literary elements: setting, characters, plot, conflict, narrator, theme, mood, and tone. I'm going to give you a definition and an example of each literary element from the movie and book Finding Nemo. The main goal for this video is to give you a basic introduction to each one and help you identify the literary elements within a story. Each literary element has many details and some complex information, but in this video, we're covering just the basics to introduce you to each one. The first literary element we're going to learn today is setting. The setting is when and where a story takes place. As an example, the setting for the story Finding Nemo was in the Pacific Ocean in modern times around the year 2003. How do we know that the setting was the Pacific Ocean? Did the movie say that? Did the book say that? It didn't. We know that the story took place in the Pacific Ocean because Nemo began in the ocean near the United States and ended up crossing the ocean to Australia. The ocean between the United States and Australia is the Pacific Ocean. And how do we know that the year was 2003? Not all stories or movies tell the year. The story in movie Nemo doesn't tell the year. But we know it's 2003 because that's when the movie and the book were released or published. The next literary element we'll study is characters. Characters are people and animals in the story. As an example, the characters in the movie Finding Nemo included Nemo, Marlin, his father, and Dory, a friend who helps Marlin find Nemo. There were other characters in the movie, but these 3 were the main characters. Our next literary element is plot. A plot includes important events and actions in the story. For example, in Finding Nemo, 3 important plot events include that Nemo gets lost, then his father Marlin searches for him and eventually finds him. The plot includes more events than these 3, but these 3 are the most important. Number 4, conflict. The conflict of a story is the big problem to solve. For example, in Finding Nemo, the conflict is that Nemo is lost. Number 5 is narrator. The narrator is the person telling the story. Remember that the narrator is not the same as the author. The author creates a narrator to tell the story to readers. Most movies don't have a narrator. Books do have a narrator. The narrator of the book Finding Nemo sees the story but isn't part of the action. The movie Finding Nemo doesn't have a narrator. Number 6, theme. A theme is the story's message about life. Sometimes stories have more than one theme. For example, in Finding Nemo, one of the themes is that fear is an obstacle to goals and wishes. The message is, fight your fears. That will help you accomplish goals and wishes, like Nemo did. Number 7 is mood. The mood is how the story feels for the reader. Some stories, for example, feel happy, sad, or scary. For example, the mood of the story Finding Nemo is tense or stressful. The obstacles are scary so the reader is often worried about Nemo. Number 8, tone. The author's tone shows the author's attitude or opinion toward details in the story. The tone can be positive, negative, sarcastic, sad, and etc. Feeling an author's tone is like hearing a speaker's tone. The way a person speaks about a topic shows how he or she feels about it. For example, in the book Finding Nemo, the author writes, "But today was Nemo's first day of school. He was very excited." Imagine the author saying these words. If we do this, we can feel that the author's tone toward Nemo is positive. Basically, this means that the author likes the character of Nemo. Now let's practice identifying literary elements. The story Crime and Punishment takes place in the 1860s in Russia. Most events happen in the city of St. Petersburg, and others take place in a prison in Siberia. Number 1. This information describes the A. mood, B. setting, or C. conflict. Choose the answer, and we'll check the answers in a moment. In the story Prisoner B3087, the narrator says, "But it was too late. The Germans were here. If I had only known then what I know now, I would have run." Number 2, his what is pessimistic and scary? A. setting, B. tone, or C. conflict. In Harry Potter, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are the people who make important decisions and actions in the story. Number 3, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are the main A. characters, B. mood, or C. plot. In Hunger Games, the main character Katniss says, "It doesn't change anything. It doesn't make things fair. It doesn't fill our stomachs." Number 4, these words form a sad and desperate A. setting, B. mood, or C. plot. In Twilight, Edward is a vampire who loves Bella. Edward wants to be close to Bella, but he is afraid he will hurt her. Number 5, this describes the what of the story? A. plot, B. conflict, or C. mood. In The Kitchen God's Wife, Pearl is born in America and raised by immigrant parents who follow traditional Chinese customs. Number 6, in this story, one what is that a person can have two different cultures and love and value both of them. A. conflict, B. theme, or C. mood. In Romeo and Juliet, Romeo Montague and Juliet Capulet meet at a party and fall in love, but their families hate each other. Romeo, Juliet, and other characters take actions that result in a tragic ending to the story. Number 7, these are some actions in the what of the story? A. setting, B. conflict, or C. plot. The story Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger is told by the main character of the story, Holden Caulfield. Number 8, Holden Caulfield is the what of the story? A. theme, B. tone, or C. narrator. Pause the video if you need to fill in any answers, and then we'll check the answers in a moment. Are you ready to check? The answer to number 1 is B. setting. We know that these details describe the setting because the setting is the time and place of the story. The time of this story is the 1860s, and the places are St. Petersburg and a prison in Siberia in Russia. The answer to number 2 is B. tone. We know the answer can't be A. setting because these words don't tell us anything about the time or place of the story. And we know the answer can't be C. conflict because these words don't tell us about the problem of the story that needs to be solved. So the only correct answer is B, tone. The answer to number 3 is A. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are the people in the story Harry Potter. So that makes them the characters. The correct answer to number 4 is A, mood. We know this is the answer because as we read these words by Katniss, these words create certain emotions or feelings for the reader. We know that the answer can't be B, conflict, because no problem is told in these words that needs to be solved in the story. And we know the answer can't be C, plot, because no events or actions in the story are stated in these words. So the only possible answer is A, mood. The answer to number 5 is B, conflict. We know this is the answer because these words explain to us the problem that needs to be solved in the story Twilight. What is the problem? The problem is that Edward is a monster, specifically a vampire, who loves Bella but might hurt her. Because Bella and Edward fall in love, by the end of the story, they have to solve the problem that Edward might hurt her if he's close to her. We know that the answer is not A, plot, because these words don't tell us any events or actions that take place in the story. And we know that the answer isn't C, mood, because these words tell us a problem. They might also make us feel certain emotions, but the statement tells us the problem in the story that needs to be solved. So the only possible answer is B, conflict. The answer to number 6 is B, theme. We know this is the answer because these words explain to us one message about life that the Kitchen God's Wife teaches readers. The message it teaches readers is a person can have 2 different cultures and love and value both of them. We know that the answer is not A, conflict, because these words don't tell us a problem that needs to be solved. And it's not C, mood, because these words don't make a reader feel certain emotions. Rather, these words state a lesson or message that readers learn about life. The answer to number 7 is C, plot. The reason we know that this is the answer is because these sentences tell us 3 events that happen in the story. We know that the answer is not A, setting, because setting would tell us the time and place, and these sentences do not give us details about the time and place. We know that the answer is not B, conflict, because even though we get information about problems for the characters, we don't know the main problem that the characters need to solve by the end of the story. We know events and actions that take place in the story, so for number 7, the correct answer is C, plot. The answer to number 8 is C, narrator. We know this is the correct answer because this sentence tells us who's telling the story. And who is telling the story? Holden Caulfield. He's also the main character of the story. That's not unusual for the main character to also be the narrator. We know that the answer can't be theme because this sentence doesn't really tell us a message or a lesson about life. And we know that the answer isn't B, tone, because this sentence just tells us details about the narrator and main character. It doesn't indicate how the author feels about that character. So the only possible answer is C. The end. Our lesson on literary elements for today is complete. I hope this video helped you understand what literary elements are and to identify them in stories. Thank you for watching.